I went to the FleetForce school in Bradenton. I took my test on June 8th, which I passed, and I graduated. I had no experience. The most I've driven was a USPS mail truck and a 16-foot trailer, which I couldn't even back up. So I did not have any experience coming into this. The most important part of the training, it's not really what you would expect. I would say it was the fact that I was put into such a safe learning environment. Like, I wasn't afraid to ask questions. I wasn't afraid to make mistakes. I've always been very, very hard on myself and have a hard time letting myself make mistakes. And the instructors here made it so that it was like a learning experience and they were excited when you made a mistake. So the fact that it was such an amazing learning environment was really what helped me get to the point where I was excited to go to school. I was excited to make mistakes. I was excited to learn. I'm someone who just constantly asks questions and um gets confused a lot, and then all of a sudden I'll have like a light bulb moment and like talk myself through it and explain to them like, "Oh, this is what I was doing wrong." I had been interested in getting into grapple truck operating, possibly, and I was also enrolled in some college courses that don't start until August. And I kind of thought to myself, well, what can I do in the meantime that's productive, that can move me forward in life? And I went to Google and I looked up how long does it take to get your CDL, and it didn't take as long as I thought it did. And I looked up CDL school near me, and there was FleetForce right 20 minutes away from where my parents live. So I called them up and they offered me a grant, and I signed up immediately. If I hadn't got that grant, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. But because of that, I was able to immediately start school. Grapple trucks, they have like a crane on them, and they come in after disasters and like hurricanes and stuff, and they clear up the debris that happens after these disasters. And I was born in Florida, born and raised. So, disaster relief is always something I've been passionate about. Like after Ian, me and a couple girls went down to Fort Myers right after the hurricane hit, and we brought grills and stuff, and we cooked food for neighborhoods that didn't have electricity. And, we brought supplies to neighborhoods that were still flooded and couldn't leave their houses. And I decided I wanted to be able to do that as a career. I didn't want to keep volunteering. I wanted to be able to make a living out of it. And then after Hurricane Milton and Helene, immediately I was on my computer because I was born in Bradenton, Sarasota, and that's where it was projected to be a direct hit. Um, Immediately I was on my computer, like disaster relief jobs, looking for jobs, not just volunteer opportunities. And I found a monitor job, which is like it's a paperwork job, but you worked with the grapple truck operators. You're like a liaison between them and FEMA so that they can get paid. And those guys were so supportive of me. And that's amazing to me because I came into that job somewhat scared that the truckers were not going to take me seriously because I'm a petite woman. And they just showed me so much support. It's incredible. I had no idea that there is so many different ways that you can get involved with disaster relief. I thought the Coast Guard was the only way I could do it. I'm a job hopper. I never found my thing. I never, out of high school, I didn't go to college. I went to a 6-month culinary program and I didn't do anything with it. I've been an overnight security guard. Then I worked at the post office for a bit as a mail carrier. And then I detailed helicopters for about 2 years. And then that's when I went to basic training. And when I came back from that, I started working at a dive shop doing manatee tours. Then I was helping my boyfriend with his lawn care business. And most recently, um, was working for a handyman as a helper. I would say just go for it. You know, especially with the grants that they offer, there's really no reason not to do it. There's really no reason not to push yourself forward and get that certification. And you might be like me, who is just looking for something productive to do in your spare time, and then you might end up really falling in love with it because I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did, and I really fell in love with it. Like I said, I think I found my thing.